Hi, this is Scott Garibay, and today we're going to be talking about Andrew Yang and the Hummingbird Project 2019, a brand new 2019 film, and how the Hummingbird Project is really a perfect summary of exactly what America is and what it should be, and it points to why Andrew Yang's specific form of being a Democrat and what he supports and what he doesn't support is so critical, and why he's the perfect candidate for 2020 U.S. president. All right, so let's get into it. First, spoiler warning. There's spoilers for Hummingbird Project 2019 in this content. All right, so first I want to explain what Hummingbird Project 2019 is. So the Hummingbird Project 2019 is a movie it's a movie made by a Canadian director by the name of Kim Nguyen. I think it's really important. I think the fact that this has a Canadian director is really important because I think this Canadian is able to see America in a really unique and special way. In a way, sometimes it's hard to see yourself for what you are, but people from the outside looking in, they can see very clearly because they don't come with your own biases. And so this Canadian director, I think he has an incredibly sharp, clear view of what America is and what it should be. All right, so Kim Nguyen made this film. It's called The Hummingbird Project. It is not a true story, but actually it's not genre in any way. It is simply it takes place in contemporary America, actually the year 2012 specifically. And it is the story of ultra low latency, direct market access used by high frequency traders. So this movie the entire film is about four groups, of people who are trying to do the same thing. Diggers, quants, executives, and traders who are all trying to make it so that they can send a message from Kansas City to New York City, from the Kansas City Stock Exchange, to the New York Stock Exchange. And if they can send a message faster than they're competitive over a fiber optic line, then they can put in orders and do high frequency trades before the other people can, okay? And the whole movie is about getting rid of 1 millisecond in how fast a message can be sent over a fiber optic line. Okay, and so if you could shave off 1 millisecond, the way the stock exchange works, you can make a lot of money doing high frequency trades. And that was in 2012, and that's even more true today. All right, the speed of information is absolutely the primary driver on how much money you can make and on how much money you can make. Period. Right, especially in high frequency trading. Okay, so this whole movie is about a group of people that are working incredibly hard to shave 1 millisecond off of and go from 17 milliseconds down to 16 milliseconds off of the speed to send information between Kansas City and New York. Okay, now basically the movie is really fantastic because it shows four elements of America that we really have a lot of. Okay, so the diggers in this movie, the people who actually dig tunnels, to dig the actual tunnel, the small tunnel, to lay fiber optic line under somebody's house, under a river, under a mountain, right? The diggers, they exemplify destruction in this movie. They destroy land. They destroy a lot of land. Well, I mean, actually, yeah. Like they bring in, massive digging tools and they ram a rod right underneath people's property. Now, there are contracts when they can get contracts, but when they can't, the movie goes right into all the different ways that they bend the law, not break. That's really important. Bend the law to get what they want, right? The movie goes into incredible detail on this. But the diggers are essentially destructive. They the diggers exemplify destruction. The main digger in the movie is played by Michael Mando. He does an incredible job with this role. Okay. All right. The traders in this movie exemplify competition, right? Another element America has in spades. The traitor in this film is played by Jesse Eisenberg, and he plays, a penultimate competitor. He plays a traitor, okay? Next, you have the quants. The quants in this movie, by the way, if you don't know what a quant is somebody who deals with numbers in incredibly arcane ways. They're incredibly intelligent, and they're super good at math, right? And you can bring them in to do all kinds of, they quantify things, right? But they're essentially math wizards. That's another way to say quant. The quants in this movie, they exemplify obsession. And we got a lot of that in America. There are a lot of Americans that are very obsessed with their work. Okay, so the quants exemplify obsession. Okay, and last you have, by the way, the quant in this movie was played by Alexander Skarsgård. Excellent job. All the acting in this movie is incredibly exemplary. The directing is fantastic. This is a 5 out of 5 star movie. Every American should watch this film. Okay, all right. Last, the executives in this movie exemplify aggression, another element that you see in large amounts in America, right? So the executives in this film exemplify aggression. The primary executive in this movie was played by Salma Hayek. Fantastic job. Okay, so you have destruction, obsession, competition, aggression, okay? And basically, this whole movie is about high-end American achievement, right? Because what they're doing is they're doing two things in the film. They're running a fiber optic cable from Kansas City all the way to New York in as straight a line as possible. In addition to that, they're using the quants to use software and hardware to shave off time from a time that has already been made as fast as possible by multi-billion-dollar multinational corporations, but primarily American corporations. Okay, this is a story about American commerce. All right, so basic, and then essentially you see how these people go about this task, right? Now here's what's pretty amazing. Okay, what happens is Jesse Eisenberg and Alexander Skarsgård, the quant and the traitor, drive like crazy, right? To complete this task, to shave off that 1 millisecond. And they do it for completely selfish reasons, right? If they're able to take this millisecond off, they'll be able to do their trades, they'll be able to make hundreds of millions of dollars. Half $1 billion in a single year is their major driving force to make this line and to drop that 1 millisecond off of the time, okay? So that's your trader and your quant, okay? The digger is simply doing the bidding of the trader, okay? The executive in the movie has lost the trader and the quant as her employer, and she is trying to stop them from doing this task. The trader and the quant fail to complete this task, okay? In time. And what happens is the executive finds another quant, right? The person is an Asian quant, right? They find an Asian quant who figures out a way to use cell towers to drop 2 milliseconds off, so that by the time the fiber optic cable is actually successfully run, it is obsolete at 15 milliseconds because Salma Hayek's executive, she had, using a different Asian quant, an Asian quant has dropped 2 milliseconds off and made their entire effort meaningless, okay? So this whole movie is about the failure of a trader and a quant, defeated by an executive, and a digger who had to do the bidding of the trader and the quant, okay? And it's a fascinating film, right? But when you're done, you see this massive failure, hundreds of millions of dollars. I'm sorry, I think it was probably under $100 million to run this entire line. So it's tens of millions of dollars that were utterly wasted, okay? And you see the overdog, like the quant and the trader, Jesse Eisenberg and Alexander Skarsgård, they're the underdog. They're defeated by the overdog, okay? And you're like, oh my gosh, what's the point of this film, right? But when you just take one step back and you see the full picture, you could tell that this is the most beautiful portrait of America that has ever been presented on screen, in my opinion, right? Because it sees America for exactly what it is, all right? So here's the kicker, right? So basically, these two, the trader and the quant, they wanted to do this for incredibly selfish reasons, okay? The executive beat them out for selfish reasons as well, right? Now, that solution that the quant and the trader brought forward that was completely obsolete in the high frequency trading industry actually pulled a millisecond off, okay, of how long it takes to send a message, right? And everyone else and so basically Salma Hayek, the executive, because she created a 14 millisecond, a 2 millisecond faster solution, she gets huge rewards immediately because she was an intelligent, knowledgeable sacrificer, okay? But everyone else in America got to collect the solution of the quant and the trader that was 1 millisecond faster for virtually nothing 5 years later, right? And the reason why is that archaic tech just fell out of use from the high frequency trading industry. They had no care for it. They could not care less about that, about that solution, had no need for it. So everyone else in America gets a faster way to send a message. And even the Asian quant who created the 2 millisecond faster solution, right? That's going to fall out 10 years later when it is far surpassed by another solution, right? So that's America. Okay, so let me explain. So what the movie shows is, it shows here's exactly what America is. America is a capitalist democracy with rule of law. Okay? All right. It also shows that a capitalist democracy with rule of law is an engine that uses as fuel destruction, obsession, competition, and aggression. And what it does, it rewards intelligent, knowledgeable sacrifices heavily and immediately. And then, here's the important part, it benefits everyone 5 or 10 years later. So right now in America, right, I have on my phone GPS. GPS is a completely useless tech that is super old, right? And none of the major corporations, nor the military, use it at all today because there are far better systems. But for me, I get that ancient old tech for nothing, and it makes my life incredibly better because there are people who are destructive, obsessive, competitive, and aggressive. And they are building solutions that are so much better than what I have today that their dross, the debris of their activity, is my gold. That is America. That is America to the ninths, right? If you are intelligent, if you are knowledgeable, if you are willing to sacrifice hours, health, many good aspects of a good life, you can get huge rewards in America, right? But what you have done is so high up on the ladder that even your leavings from 2 or 3 years old, your archaic solutions will drop to the public and be used for a fraction of the cost that you used to make it, right? And that is the beauty of our nation, right? We are a capitalist democracy, right? We are a capitalist democracy with rule of law, and that capitalist democracy with rule of law uses as fuel destruction, obsession, competition, and aggression. Okay? And it immediately rewards intelligent, knowledgeable sacrificers, and then it benefits everyone 5-10 years later with tech that was cutting edge a long time ago. right? And really, and I can't speak enough about how important it is that it's technology. Technology is incredibly important, and it is a huge aspect of American life, right? So, what does this have to do with Andrew Yang? Well, here's the kicker. It is so absolutely critical that Andrew Yang is a Democrat who loves capitalism. Literally today, you will find in Andrew Yang's text in Twitter, money is the answer. Andrew Yang wants to give a freedom dividend. He doesn't want to redistribute wealth. He wants to give a freedom dividend, and saying our nation has acquired so much wealth that we can share that wealth with people who have not been on the front lines of that wealth because we have so much, right? But he's saying it's a freedom dividend. He's saying, in America, everyone has played a part in making this nation as wealthy as we are, right? So, but the issue is, one of the things that it's one of the main reasons why I am voting for Andrew Yang. He is saying money is the answer. Government is not the answer. He's saying, let's take the money, let's take the wealth and get it into the hands of Americans because they know how to use it far, far better than the government knows how to use it. And that is incredibly important. It is critical to understand how and why he has declared this, right? And so for Andrew Yang, money is the answer, not socialism, right? Capitalism is the answer, not socialism. That is why Yang is so far ahead and such a better choice for Democrat president than Bernie Sanders, right? Yang wants to take us down an American road for American government. Bernie, socialism aligns with China. There's more China in Bernie than there is America, right? China is exactly where Bernie wants to be, socialism, right? Yang is exactly where Americans want to be, capitalism. Money is the answer. Money is the answer. And but Yang's got a Democrat heart. He's got enough. He's saying, hey, it's not enough for a nation this wealthy to take that wealth and keep it at the very, very top levels, right? We need to use a freedom dividend and give back to everyone who has made this country great, and that means every single living American, right? And that American adult. And I think that is exactly the right way to go. So basically, Hummingbird Project 2019 paints a perfect picture of what America is. And Andrew Yang is exactly the Democrat we need. He is a Democrat who has the kindness, the respect, the wokeness needed for us to have a strong Democrat. But he also loves capitalism. He loves democracy. He loves rule of law. He understands that it is an engine that takes the worst of humanity and turns it into gold for at a higher rate for some, but later for everyone. And that is an amazing, awesome aspect of Andrew Yang. He has a Democrat heart, kindness, love, respect, right? But he understands that money is the true answer. He is the absolute rock solid best candidate. I'm so excited to vote for him. That's my opinion. I'd love to hear your opinion. Please let me know in the comments below. Please consider liking and subscribing, and have a wonderful millennium.